Welcome to Outlander Media Network. I'm Kirby Lee Bailey, and this is Brad Roberts from the band Crash Test Dummies. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, sir.
How's your stay here in Nashville so far?
So far, it's been beautiful. We haven't been here for very long, but I've always loved Nashville and love touring here.
This is one of my, like I said, we love coming up here. This is one of my favorite venues to come to because I get to dress up nice. My camera person gets to dress up nice, and we just enjoy the laid-back atmosphere in here.
Yeah, we play a lot of city wineries on this tour. They're across the country, and it's very consistent, and they're all really good to us. We like playing this show a lot.
So it's kind of like y'all are like doing like a storytelling, like MTV had like storytelling. Is y'all kind of like that same setup here, like?
I don't talk between songs too much, so there's not a lot of storytelling. I used to do more of that, but I've been kind of backing off and playing more music and talking less lately.
Well, that's a great idea. Have you tried the food here yet?
Yes, I have. I'm going to have the crispy chicken sandwich for dinner tonight, which sounds delicious. I've had it before, so I know it's delicious.
Does it have the same menu at every city winery you're going to?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
So I've been reading on you guys, and y'all are getting ready to have a new single release. I didn't catch the name of it, but I know y'all got a new single coming up.
Yes, we do. It'll be on streaming platforms on March 10th, and the song is called Sacred Alphabet. And we'll be playing it tonight on our show. It's been going over really well. I was kind of surprised because, you play a song for people that they haven't heard before, and it's a little harder to keep their attention. But people have been quiet as mice and listening to every word, and it's been really going well.
I'm glad for it. Like I say, we're looking forward to this because this was a show that was supposed to be earlier and it pushed back. Was it because y'all were having problems getting out of your home country to come into the States to tour? Or I was just noticed like this was a show that was earlier last year, I believe, and then it pushed back. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting my concerts mixed up.
To be quite honest with you, I'm not sure. I don't actually book us, so I just kind of go where I'm told. Led around by the nose, more or less. So I can't remember, to be totally honest with you.
So do y'all tour all the way from Canada? Like, do y'all have a touring vehicle and y'all drive from Canada, or do y'all fly somewhere here into the States?
We all, the band is spread out. Some are in Winnipeg, Canada. Some are in Toronto. Some are in Halifax. I live in New York City. So whenever we tour, we just fly to the first city that we're going to tour in, do a couple of rehearsals, and then take it from there.
Where do you live at in New York City area?
I live in Soho, which used to be a great neighborhood when I first moved there 20 years ago, but it has since become overrun with tourists and big retail. And it used to be, like all kinds of interesting things going on, but that got really pushed out. But I have rent control, so it's hard to move. Because, once you got rent control and you're locked into that, it's a pretty big deal.
What does it mean on rent control?
It means that the landlord can't arbitrarily hike your rent by any amount that they please, which is what they can do if you don't have rent control.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense because living in New York City, I'm a camera person, a New York City person. I was Jersey City at one point, and like I said, I used to tell people down here in the South, cost of living is a little more reasonable than up there.
Yeah.
I lived in a place that was close to this size, and this has been 10 years ago, and it was about $1,200 a month. And that was cheap because I lived in a bad part of town.
Yeah, well, and that was probably big too, relatively speaking.
Yeah, that doesn't include all the other stuff. We got to pay for parking and pay for the. I'll never forget it. I think I couldn't get back to Tennessee fast enough.
I'll bet.
With the whole COVID thing, how did it affect all y'all's band and trying to get back restarted? And
well, we got back together again just before COVID, we did a show in Winnipeg with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and everybody enjoyed it so much that we thought we'd go back on the road again for the first time in a long time. And we were out for about 8 months, and we had planned on plowing through, but then bam, COVID happened. And so we were off the road for a couple of years, and we had all kinds of tours that we had, or shows that we had to cancel. And then eventually we made them all up, and I think we've actually managed to get to every market that we had to cancel, and that we're finally caught up now.
Oh, I imagine. I mean, like I said, like here in this area, it wasn't as big a lockdown. Like, you know, you live in New York, and I don't think I've been to New York since COVID hit, because of the rules are so much more stringent.
Yeah.
Than it
Well,
was.
everybody's so close together in Manhattan. They're so packed together, like sardines, and it was spreading really quickly. Especially on the subways, you know. You get all those people on the same subway. But yeah, it was interesting being in New York at that time, because all of a sudden the streets were just silent. It was almost apocalyptic.
Yeah, me and my partner, we worked together, and our jobs didn't close down. And you get on the interstate, and there was like the first 2 or 3 weeks when that first started, we just driving down. And it was like you can do 90 on the interstate, and nobody's gonna say nothing because there's nobody out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, y'all biggest song, of course, is.
It is.
Do you ever get tired of doing that song?
No, you know, I don't, because the audience enjoys it so much that it makes it enjoyable for me too. You know, for me it might be the 100th time I've played it, or probably more, but for the audience it's, you know, the first time they're hearing it live at least, and that kind of energizes one.
Yeah.
So.
I was talking to some friends last night about it at work, and we were talking about it, and I was like, you don't remember this song? It came out in '93, and the girl looked at me, she said, I wasn't born yet. I said, okay, never mind. Let's not talk about it anymore. I mean, you know you've got a big song when Weird Al Yankovic parodies, and you're like...
That was a great milestone in our career, I gotta tell you. And he even used that song as the first single off his record, so we're very lucky.
Okay, and back in '93, y'all also did, that song was also put on the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack,
Yes.
and you added, what was the other song?
Peter
Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, that's a cover song actually by a band called XTC, and we picked up that song because I wanted Ellen, our backup vocalist, to sing lead on one song, and her range just happened to fit that song really well, and we thought it was a good song, so we learned it. And then along came the soundtrack people for Dumb and Dumber and asked us to record it, and I was kind of puzzled because I thought, well, XTC has already recorded this, that there's a great version that already exists, but they wanted us to do our version, so we did, and it turned into a hit for us. It was
Yeah, I remember, like I said, well, y'all, both songs were in the movie, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you're correct.
I have to sit there and think for a minute, and say, well, were both of them in there? Because it was on the he was on the moped coming back, and they were playing the song as he was driving back.
Yeah, yeah.
So what all has changed since going from, that's 30 years ago, so what all has changed now that you are 30 years smarter?
Well, you know, back in the 90s, we were very successful, but it also took its toll on me. You know, not that I'm against hard work, but I was working so hard that it was out of control. And I was suffering from exhaustion, and I don't have super fond memories of those times touring, although we were doing extremely well, and I was, you know, happy to play the shows, but it was just so demanding. Now, we have the great luxury of being able to tour at our own pace, and I don't have to do press from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon like I used to. You know, it used to just be back to back. So I have a little more leisure time, and I can take a nap if I need to. you know, it's just a much more pleasant experience altogether.
I can imagine, just work your own pace. How long is this tour going till?
It's about a month. So, and that's about the average of most of our tours, between 4 and 6 weeks.
And y'all gonna try to tour like in the fall also, or will y'all just take a break for the rest of the year?
We're gonna do some shows in May in Canada, and then we're gonna do a few more shows in August. Nothing's set in stone yet, so I can't really give you any dates. And then we're gonna do a Christmas tour at the end of 2023. We actually have a Christmas album, and so we're gonna go out and do that. We'll see how that goes.
That'd probably be pretty cool to go to and see.
Yeah.
I mean, when y'all tour, you know, you get a break, and like I said, once you've gotten a little older, you can settle down and kind of ease into these touring.
Yes, yes.
Can you still hit that low voice that you always hit with the?
I do. You know, someone was asking me today about my voice and whether or not I was having a hard time with it as I got older. And in truth, my voice has grown deeper as I've got older. So the notes are coming easier than they ever did. I don't really go for the big high notes. I don't have them.
That's Ellen's job, right?
Exactly.
So when, like I said, when y'all are on the tour, do y'all just mainly eat at these city wineries or the place you're going to, or do y'all like stop and grab something to eat here and there?
Sometimes they feed us at the venue, and sometimes they give us what's called a buyout, where they just pay us to go eat somewhere. And, you know, sometimes it's fast food, but we try and pick a restaurant that's got something reasonably healthy when we can.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of time.
Well, so y'all be touring Christmas, and you're going to be promoting the new single tonight. I don't think I have many more questions to go. I'm enjoying your company, sitting here with you, chilling out here for a little while.
Yeah. Well, you've done a good interview. I'd say you're off the hook.
I try my best. That's why we try to do the interview before the show. We had somebody one time want to do it after the show, and I said, I don't know if that's such a hot idea. And we went back there, and we found out it wasn't a really hot idea. They looked like they were ready. I'm ready to call it a night, but I got to do this dang interview.
Yeah.
Well, Brad, we appreciate your hospitality, and like I say, we're glad y'all came from Canada. Oh, I'll ask this: going to Canada, where's your favorite place to play in Canada? What area you want to play most?
Oh, that's a good question. I love Cape Breton. It's a beautiful part of Canada. It's an island in the province of Nova Scotia. And I like touring the west coast as well. It's always a little warmer, and mountains are gorgeous. So the coasts, I think.
The coast, west coast of Canada?
West coast and east coast, yeah.
Okay, both coasts.
I like both coasts. I'm bi-coastal.
Like I say, I've never been to Canada. It's one of the few countries I can't believe I've never been to. I've been to a lot, but that's one of them I've never been to. I love a lot of the Canadian artists that come here. Is there anybody you like to tour in particular with if you're touring, like in Canada?
You know, we've been touring with Mo Kenny, and more recently with Carlton Stone. And they're both great opening acts for us. They both just do acoustic sets, but they're great singer-songwriters, and we do a lot of shows with them.
Like we got this one Canadian, he's touring soon. If he came to you and said, hey, could you open for me while I'm touring this in the States? Would you do it for me? It's Brian Adams. Would you do it for him?
Well, if the money was there, yeah. In a heartbeat. We opened for Brian Adams once at Madison Square Gardens in New York City, yeah. That was quite a show.
Yeah, he does put on a good show. I haven't seen him since, I'm showing my age again, 1988. That's the last time I saw him. And he was pretty awesome then. I know he's toured this year already with Joan Jett, who he's touring with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's a good combo.
Yeah, that'd be a very interesting combo. Well, we're gonna wrap this up and let y'all get down so you can get something to eat. That chicken sandwich sounds pretty good. We may be ordering that ourselves. Well, Brad, I appreciate y'all interviewing with Outlander Media Network. And remember to follow Crash Test Dummies on crashtestdummies.com, or is it .net?
.com.
.com, I had it right. You can also follow on Facebook, Instagram, any other good social media,
I think you've covered it.
and catch the new single on March 10th.
That's exactly right. March 10th, it will be released to all the major streaming platforms.
And the single's called,
Sacred Alphabet.
and we'll probably have it on video tonight when we release our interview later on in the week. And we appreciate y'all following us on Outlander Media Network at CD Winery in Nashville. For me, Brad Roberts from Crash Test Dummies, we say peace out.
Once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but when he finally came back, his hair had turned from black into bright white. He said that it was from when the cars had smashed so